Why anger management is not enough. The effects of anger management don't last. Anger expression techniques give short-term release, but make it worse in the long run. There still are a few of those, even though they've been so discredited by repeated research, where that's where you'll, bang a pillow with a baseball bat or, just do something aggressive. And it does give you a short-term catharsis. It depletes energy, but it reinforces the anger hostility connection. So the next time you get angry, you're more likely to become aggressive. See, that anger expression techniques are based on a totally discredited metaphor of how emotions work. That was developed in the late 19th century when the steam engine was the height of technology. And we still think of anger as like a steam engine. He's building up steam, or he's got to let off steam. And they don't work like that at all. You don't build up steam. They're regulated by, or activated and regulated by synaptic connections in the brain, neurons firing in the brain. And the more you use that sequence or connective sequence, the stronger they get. They're like muscles. When you exercise them, they get stronger. So each time you get angry, it makes it more likely you're going to get angry more often. Anger management programs rely on conscious ways to manage habituated and impulsive responses. And that's why they ultimately fail. They want you to think before you act out of anger. Now that sounds great, think before you act. And here's why it doesn't work. You get angry long before you think. Before you know that you're angry, you experience a rise in cortisol that activates the muscle groups for action, a shot of adrenaline to energize the aggressive defensive behavior. Even if you catch the cortisol adrenaline rush at its earliest stages, it takes a lot of conscious will to control. You can do it sometimes, but over the long haul of hectic day-to-day living, no one is that conscious and willful. Then there's the neurological problem of crossing domains. The brain cannot easily access information experienced in one emotional state when in a different emotional state. When you're excited, it's hard to remember what you learned when you were calm or what you experienced when you were calm. Those are different domains of the brain. They don't cross over very easily. Anger occurs in aroused states. You learn anger management in calm states, usually bored states. So the question is, how will Dr. Jekyll remember what Mr. Hyde learned in anger management class? You're unlikely to remember the technique until after the fact. Then you feel shame. I should have taken a time out instead of punching the guy's lights out. He's laying unconscious on the floor. Then it occurs to you because conscious attention is too slow. It's too little too late. The absolute slowest anger is more than 5,000 times faster than the fastest conscious thought. And that's when you're hyped up on Starbucks, that's a normal thinking, that's hyper alert thinking. That's a survival emotion. It's too important to rely on conscious calculation. So when you rely on a conscious calculation or regulation of an unconscious impulse, it's going to be too little too late. So here's the anger management learning sequence. You act out, then you feel shame, then you remember the anger management technique. So here's how it's self-defeating. The initial experience of shame, see, what you've learned is you've got to feel shame before you remember the technique. The initial experience of shame is a drop in energy, slight mental confusion, difficulty in concentrating. minor physical discomfort. Weakening of the neck muscles makes it a bit harder to hold up your head. That's why we look down when we're ashamed. The word means to cover or hide, so you really want to look down or cover up your face. Now, at this point, you're completely unaware of the shame while you're experiencing all of those things. You just feel a little less alert, more tired, heavier feeling in your head. You have to work harder to concentrate or think clearly. What do you want when these things happen? The energy of confidence, of anger and resentment. It's not really the anger or resentment, it's the adrenaline, but that's the easiest way to get it. The easiest way to get anger and resentment is to blame somebody for something, and you automatically will get that shot of adrenaline. Now, anger management creates a feedback loop with shame that makes it more likely that you'll keep getting angry.